Hi everyone, welcome back to Candid Talk. My name is Mahi, and this is the show where we look at the invisible behind the visible. So, my guest today has done a little bit of everything. She's done hospitality, she's now into education, and now she lives for bringing conversations to life that are all about growth and working on yourself and exciting ventures and, all that kind of stuff. So, to talk about that and more, let's welcome my guest, Miss Leah.
Thank you.
How
Pleasure
are
being
you?
here.
How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. And thank you for having me over here today.
No worries. You came from like really far away, so thank you for coming.
Pleasure is all mine.
So, how has your day been? How's life been so far for you? What's up with you?
So, talking about my life, okay, I've been here in UAE for more than a decade. So, when I shifted here, of course, I got married, and then that's how I shifted to UAE. I had my personal ambitions. I was working into hospitality industry back in Pune. I was working as a professor with one of the colleges in Pune, which is Bharati Vidyapeeth in Srinagar. Like, which part of India are you from?
Bye.
Mumbai. So I'm from Pune.
Uh,
That's how I was working there. We were working with some of the brands like Taj, Oberoi's, and Regent. So basically, if we talk about my education, it is from hospitality. So we were completely into hotel industry, then got married, came here, and that's how the journey actually began. I was working here with Harriet Watts, Chubby Cheeks Nursery. So from hospitality, there was a transition to education.
Yeah. And we'll definitely get into that more because I have a few questions about that as well.
Okay.
But before that, let's talk about just like, day-to-day life. So what does like a typical day in the life necessarily look like for you? Does each day look different, or is it like you have a fixed routine or something?
No, I'm sure nobody has a fixed routine, and it would be so boring if you have a fixed routine. You cannot have, of course, when you do a job, you do have certain chores to be taken care of. But for me, it's more of flexibility because I work from home. I have Ed Park, my tutoring club to be taken care of. We also do podcast with one of my co-hosts. Her name is Bhavna. She's a career counselor. So we both have this venture also along with my baby, which is Ed Park. So the day does not look the same from morning to evening. It's a lot of roller coaster balancing your personal life and your work life. So it's never the same for me, and I enjoy doing that.
That's fun. 'Cause I don't like being stuck in this one cycle of like same thing over and over again. Because I had it when I was in school, right? You go home, come back, do your homework, wake up again for school. It's like boring. Nothing's
Of course, you need to have different experiences in life. You need to have different every day to look forward for that. Today is an adventure, not a very bad one, but of course, you need to have some adventure in life.
So is there anything like a specific ritual or something that you do that you like must do every single day that's kind of like, okay, this is for me and I have to do this for myself?
Self-care.
Yeah. What does that look like?
Before going to sleep, I do have this ritual. I have always a flashback of my day. What went wrong? Where I can improvise and not do those mistakes again. But however, things do not work every time. But there is a ritual before sleeping to just have a flashback of what, and of course, pay gratitude to whatever good happened during the day.
Do you ever spiral? Like, oh, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that.
Yes, I do. I wouldn't lie. I do that. There are certain decisions which you make and you feel that that was not the right one. When you feel that later on, that's perfectly fine. That's how you learn.
That's great. So I want to know, so you said you started off in hospitality, right? And okay, let's go back in the past. What were you like growing up?
I wasn't a naughty one. I'm the youngest. I have one elder brother. So always a pampered child.
Oh, that's like 99% of what everyone says here is like, I was a pampered child.
Yes, since the youngest. So you can get away doing a little bit of naughtiness, but I was more or less a studious child, not a very mischievous, I would say, a quiet one in the class. So I hope my classmates don't listen to this. I'm sure they will have something to say. But yeah, It was nice. It was a wonderful childhood. My parents, they had done whatever they could. And back then, technology was not so much in. So the kind of childhood I had was more of play, more of drama,
Going
more
on.
of going out, spending time with your relatives, your friends, your family, which nowadays, probably because of nuclear family, it's also a little on a lesser side. But that's how my childhood was.
That's fun. Do you have any specific memory from school that got you maybe in trouble a little, or were you
Trouble?
Like,
No, as I said, I wasn't much naughty, but I was into basketball. So yes, I went to the national level. Yes. So this is something which I miss now. I should have continued probably.
what happened in between the
When you are in grade 10,
yeah.
if you go back, then boards,
Mm.
now what you call GCSEs in another language in British schools and all. But for us, when you come to grade 10 and grade 12, that's it.
Yeah.
You need to focus
Serious.
on your studies. Everything changes for you. And I think that was the time when sports was not given so much of priority. It was more towards academics. So I think that's what happened. And I had to give up on my sport and focus more on my academics.
How did you deal with that sort of heartbreak of like trying to separate from
Again, there is a
sport?
generation gap.
Yeah.
When parents used to guide you something, we generally used to follow it. I mean, we used to say, okay, fine. Academics is more important, as you say, and we used to go for. But it's not that I used to play for fun later on, but the career ways, no, it stopped after doing the nationals. We did not go ahead with sports.
Do you still play? Are you still
No.
as good as you were before? Oh, no.
I don't know. Now I don't play anymore.
So were you a backbencher, or were you like the class topper, or were you somewhere in the middle?
I was an average one, not a very topper or not very. I was not a backbencher for sure. I was very studious, completing all my assignments properly, but not a topper, I would say. I was a blend of everything.
Good enough, like good student. So when we are kids, we always have these like ambitions, like I want to be a doctor who treats patients for free. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be something like that, a princess. So did you have anything like that as a kid?
I wanted to become an air hostess once upon a time, but my height, so I was rejected.
What about high heels? If you just constantly
No,
wear
they
them
did
like
not accept that. So I had aviation in mind.
Fun.
So that never happened because of the height. Medical, I was rejected. I did try, so no regrets.
That's fun. So you've way before like getting into like hospitality and stuff, you've done a bit of everything.
Yeah.
What was like your first ever job like? Did you have a summer job or anything like that?
Okay, I didn't have a summer job because that moment we didn't have more of a concept of summer jobs. But my first internship was in one of the boutique hotels in Pune.
Okay, fun.
Where it wasn't fun.
Okay.
There's a very interesting story I will tell you. So we had a shift of 8 hours.
Yeah, okay.
You need to go in the morning, 9 o'clock till evening, 6 o'clock. So we had a rotation. There is F&B department, there is a kitchen. You have been placed in each department for a certain period of time. Now, when I was placed in kitchen, I was being given 2 crates of onions.
Okay.
Which I need to peel from morning 9 o'clock till evening 6 o'clock. So that's your job.
That's it?
That's it.
You got paid for that?
No.
Oh, you did. Okay.
I mean, payment was peanuts. It's nothing that could really matter. But the experience of what hard work, what resilience, and how you adapt to what has been given to you, that was pathetic. But today, when you think about those experiences, it is something to teach you that life is not going to be easy going forward. Imagine doing 8 hours of just peeling onions. You come in the morning, you start doing that.
Did you have practice at home where like
No.
helping your mom cook or something? And you're like, let me just do it.
But peeling one onion and peeling crates of onion for 8 hours a day was, and then your hands would really smell and stink. But then it's okay. That's how they wanted to teach you that hospitality industry is not a piece of cake. It's not something that you see from outside. it's flashy, it's luxurious, but people who are working there, they really put in hard work to it.
Did you have any like breakdowns in between where you're just like, I can't do this?
We didn't have a choice. If you can't do it, you're out.
Oof. So what was like, aside from this whole onion situation, what was like the most challenging part and what was the most exciting part for you?
For me, exciting was always the front desk operations. I always loved being on the front desk rather than the kitchen side. But since the internship demanded that every department you need to serve and you need to take number of hours, we had to do that. But I always enjoyed the front desk part of it. Meeting new people, making new connections, and giving them that memorable experiences. That's something which I always enjoyed.
So when did you like first decide like this is what I want to do? Initially, like you went into hospitality, but what was the moment where you're like, okay, I'll do this? Because you took a pivot into education and something completely different, which we'll talk about. But what was like the initial thought process?
Okay, after taking certain experience, I got a call from my principal.
Okay.
That would you like to come in and try for teaching? So that's how I was like, for a minute, of course, you get a setback because you have not done it. You do have certain number of experience, but then when you're teaching, it's completely different. You need to have that kind of a knack where I said, okay, fine, let me come and have a meeting. And the journey started from there. So whatever experience I had, I could put it into practical knowledge and teach the same to the students. So teaching happened from that moment.
So you were a professor, right? You said you're a professor. Now I'm very interested to know because what are the age groups of kids you've worked?
Now, see, the age group was, of course, after 12th, which is 18 plus, and you go to college. That was the age group. We did have a lesser age gap, but that was also a plus point because I could blend with them and they could really, be open and really take it fun. So, and this is something called as a technical knowledge that you require. If you talk about hospitality, it's not about maths and science. Of course, there is nutrition and other subjects, but it's more towards the practical knowledge and fun part.
And like communicating with others.
Yes.
And how do you do that? So what are some memorable stories you have? Because I don't know how different it was back then and how different people were back then, but I think if you have any fun stories, like please share because people always have fun things to say.
Fun things, what I would say is kids would really blend in with. Like till date, I have students of mine who are on Instagram following. Still we have connections, still we talk. So a gap of more than 15 years, we still are in touch. So I think nothing great than this. Whatever communication I had with them, whatever I taught them, they're still in touch. There's no funny part to it, but emotional connection to it.
Have you ever made like a rookie kind of mistake, when you're starting off and you think you know something and when you go ahead and try it, you're just like, oh wait, I made a mistake?
Mistakes are a part of life. So everybody does it. And I think I would accept, yes. When we started our event management company in Dubai, probably I was very, very engrossed into it, building it, and then suddenly COVID hit. And in pandemic, I had no choice but to close it down. I do have regrets for it that probably I would have stretched a little more and I could have had a third venture also going on right now. But it's fine because at that moment, there was so much of uncertainty. Nobody knew how things are going to take place. So I think when you decide at that moment, it's right because whatever the circumstances are, you decide based on that, you make decisions, whether it is right, whether it is wrong. It's fine by me. No regrets.
But I think this is also something I wanted to know was that obviously failures and setbacks, they kind of build us up, but they are difficult to deal with. So in your pivot and like your transition, what were some of the most, like, what were the challenges that you faced? Is there something where you look back at it, like you said, you feel upset about it, but now that you look back at it, you're like, it's fine.
It's fine. We all go through it. It's that period that's the most difficult one, I feel.
When you're in it.
When you're in it.
Yeah.
When you pass by, probably you still have that sadness, you still have that regret or some kind of unhappiness feeling, but then you need to deal with it. There is no choice. Sometimes you're left with no choices. Just go ahead with whatever you can. Maybe because EdPark happened during COVID. So I had to shut down my event management, but I also opened my EdPark, which is running from 5 years. So it's not something will stop, but something will begin.
Yeah.
So maybe for good.
So how did you kind of get yourself out of that mindset of like, this is over, but then at the same time something new is happening? Because it's not easy to deal with, obviously.
It's not easy. Yes, I agree. But when you have a business mind, you always look for opportunities. Where can I begin something that will impact and make a difference for somebody else? It's not, business is not related to only me. The team is working in it. So definitely everyone gets benefited, everybody gets an advantage out of it, and everybody wants to grow. I cannot grow myself alone. You need to have a team who is really, really reliable,
Good at what they do.
And even if they're not, they're willing to learn. I think that willingness to learn and perform is something which will take you ahead. And you meet many other people. You meet many different people. Some, of course, may not give you good experiences, but some of them, they really help you. So it's a mixed bag.
So when you look at yourself now, and when you think about yourself way, way back, like maybe when you were my age, a teenager, okay, when you were younger, what is something that has drastically changed about you, and what is something that has like remained the same about you?
What have changed? Many things have changed. I think the bonding between me and my parents, that's way different from what I have with my boy. So I think the transitions have always, it's never the same. Change is constant, that we say, right? So I think a lot have changed. I have myself grown so much in various ways. I was some point of time rigid, stubborn. I had my own ideas that things should be perfectly done, but there are some things which cannot be perfectly done. You have to be flexible. You have to adapt new things which are coming in. Now many people talk about technology. People were hesitant, especially when COVID hit. Everything went online. Before that, online was not so much of an option. There were classes happening. There were students who were learning, but it was not so much of an in factor that we say. So even now, because students have too much of screen time.
Yeah.
You agree to that?
Yeah.
So, but that is the bare minimum. You cannot go ahead without embracing technology at this point. You need to accept the fact. So that's what happened with me. I was a bit rigid initially with few of my ideas. I changed over a time, getting those experiences. So there is a transition of mine also. When I was a teenager, I was way different from what I am today.
So what has it like taught you about yourself? What has starting this whole venture and like growing as a person, what has all of these things like taught you about yourself?
One thing I would say here is the place, which is UAE. UAE is a melting pot of cultures. If you see, diversity is huge here. If you have an idea, if you have something to build impactfully, some innovations, you can do it here. So I think the place also matters. The geographical location where you're located in, that really makes a big difference. And that's how I could probably do many things staying in this country. It has made it very simple. It has made it very easy. Today, if you talk, I'm not sure if you have gone through it, but free zones. If you want to open up a business, it's not very difficult now to do that. So if you have an idea, you can try it out. It's not that, kaise karenge? How do we go about it? No, it's really, really simple, and it's really, really good. If you have an idea, go for it. So I think you can also think about it.
So I know that you said you also do podcasts as well, which is
Yes.
fun. It's nice to listen to people talk all day. But something about it is that you kind of initially just adapt to the role of a listener. You know, like you're constantly just listening and listening and listening to people. Do you ever feel like I wish I could sort of put my perspective or my story out there too? And like, is this conversation going in the direction that you expected of like sharing your side of things or maybe just having a space to just talk to?
A podcast is done by me and my co-host. Her name is Bhavna. She's a career counselor. So we both met in one of the educational summit at Ibn Battuta Mall, Ibn Battuta Gate Hotel. So she was a speaker there. I was a speaker there. We did not knew each other, and we happened to sit on the same table. And that's how we started to talk to each other. We had a lot of conversations, and after a year, this idea emerged that how about having a platform where we can have a conversation related to education. Now, season one, what we did was based on completely education. Season two, we did for entrepreneurs. And now we have season three, which is for the young achievers. So it's like, a lot has gone through it. And listening, I would say, yes, it's good to listen to people. And we do put our perspectives also when we are talking to the guests. It's more of a conversation rather than having a single way communication. Because I think podcast, rightly said by you, is more of listening. But there are certain topics where we do have a conversation between us, the guest, and Bhavna and me. So it's wonderful. It's good to put your perspective also.
So do you ever miss going back to where you started, like where you initially started? Do you ever miss that, or are you like, I'm happy where I am? But I kind of miss that.
No, I don't miss.
Really?
No, you cannot, because that's the reality. That's a fact. I would like to go back at my childhood and probably have more of those memories. But where I am today, I'm very much happy about it.
Is there someone in particular like you've met or you've had a conversation with since starting your own thing that has kind of like stuck with you for a while? You just like think about it and you're like, wow, like that made an impact.
I think not to trust blindly. This is something which I have noticed when you're into business, especially. You really need to take care of certain things and not be overboard.
Smart.
Yeah, but this I came to know after I got an experience again. So experiences have always taught us how you should not do things. So yeah, that's one thing I would say.
That's fun. That's great. But you're still learning. I mean, you're still going through those like phases of like sometimes you know what you want, sometimes you're kind of questioning everything and stuff like that.
There's a saying that you discover 100 ways of how not to do things. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I have.
So exactly, this is the same. You just don't do the same stuff over again and again. That's how you can improvise.
Yeah, that's true. So let's talk about this outside of work, outside of being a businesswoman and stuff like that. Who are you when nobody's really watching? Like who, if someone has to ask who Dia is as a person, what would you say? Aside from like
I need to spill the beans.
Please go ahead.
No, I love music.
Fun.
I love to dance.
Yeah. Music. Let's talk about that. What's your favorite?
I love the Bollywood ones. So I don't know, it just transitions me to a different world. I love to dance, but that's only with your friends and family when you have your celebrations. So that part very less people have seen. Not many people know about it, which you have asked me today here. So I think now people will come to know. I love to talk. I love to listen. It's like a complete opposite sometimes. So there are times when I would just listen and not talk. And there are times when I'll not let you talk. I would be talking all the time. So that's me. Pranks and again mischievous side I have never been, but there is a bucket list which I would like to do sooner or later.
Can you share something from that bucket?
No. Nothing. No, I want to go for a solo trip.
Oh,
That's
fun.
one thing which I was planning, but let's see when it happens. I really want one destination to have it for myself. Yeah, that's it.
Have you had any favorite places you've traveled to?
One of the favorites is Goa. I love going to Goa. Whenever there is a chance, we do Goa, Thailand,
Oh, nice.
and Switzerland.
Of
So the
course.
three places which we love going there.
So fun. Love Switzerland. Anything else that you enjoy? Are you a reader?
I do read. I do read. There is lately I'm reading Chanakya Niti.
Yeah.
So that is also interesting on leadership.
Mm.
So yeah.
Surprisingly, I know what you're talking about.
So I do keep updated with teenagers. That is required again. So yeah, maybe that's why we are connecting today.
Okay, so this is one last relating to like your transition. Obviously, when you transitioned into something completely different, when did you decide that you like wanted to stay and you're like, this is maybe something new I should venture into because it's like calling to me, you know?
The
Podcast, education, whatever it is.
education was never, I was never out of education. It's only that these sectors were different. If you talk about hospitality, I was teaching there. When I came here, I was dealing with the foundation stage students, kids. So again, it was into education. Now, when I have my tutoring club, I have all the levels, all the kids in from year 1 to year 13. So it's never that I was out of education. I was always in the sector, but in different segments.
So you've always been like a student and a teacher. Like, is it easy to deal with kids of all ages? Like at first you only had to deal with like kids who are almost your age as a professor, but now you're getting like a full picture. Is it easy?
That's how you know it's not. It's not at all easy. I wouldn't lie. It's a very honest answer, but the more you try to understand them, they have logic to whatever they say.
That is true. Because kids can teach you a lot.
They teach you a lot. If you talk to them, they have different perspectives that you have never thought of. It's like many a times they come out of the box ideas which I have never even thought of. So I think even they teach us. I don't think if you have the mindset of keeping open to ideas, to listening to them, you're sorted.
That's true. So one last question is, what is a new venture that you'd like to try?
I wanted to open a cafe.
Oh, that's so me too. I want to do that too at like some point in my life.
Yeah, that was actually when I was in my college times. I wanted to open a hotel, but now it's come down to a cafe at least. So let's see if God's grace.
What would it have a specific theme, like a book cafe or something like that, or like music or something?
I want it to be more of a fun cafe and yeah, not a book. I wouldn't touch that side, but I wanted it to be more towards fun and people who get mental peace probably.
Where you have like fun activities
happening where you're really, really requiring to come there and have some fun, you're most welcome. So that's one thing I have in mind to open up a cafe.
I think that's a good like retirement plan or something. If you retire early, that's like really fun because you have something like kind of therapeutic to look out for.
Yeah, a lot of hard work goes in that, but once you're established, I think then
fun.
It's fun.
Where would you open it? Goa, Pune, where like here?
Right.
Really nice. That's cute. And
Goa would be more of shacks and not a cafe. But yeah.
Cafe at the beach sounds nice though. I don't know. Do they have that? I think they do.
I can think of.
Okay.
Beach sides more, there isn't any cafes. They're more of shacks and more of the other clubs and all.
I've never been to Goa, so I don't know.
You should make a visit.
I know, but it's been on my list for a while now. Okay, so before we wrap things up, I want to ask you to look into the camera and say whatever you'd like to say, anything that you want to tell the people watching.
Okay, Mahi, first of all, thank you so much. You're doing a wonderful job, and I am highly impressed that you're at the moment in university and you're doing this. This is incredible. This is how you actually learn, and you lot of best wishes to you. And may a lot of people see your podcast and connect with you and open up more opportunities going forward.
Oh my God. Wait, that's it. Oh, that was all from me.
For you, of course. For me, I am. What do you want me to say?
Wow. That's a first. I'm so thank you for saying that.
Kindness goes way ahead.
Yeah, kindness goes a long way. Everyone listen to that. Do what she said. So that brings us to the end of our episode. Thank you so much for watching. I had a fun conversation. It was really nice getting to know you and understand you and hear your stories.
Thank you so much for inviting. Pleasure to be here.
Yes. So thank you all for watching as well. Make sure to thumbs up and subscribe and, all the fun stuff. I will see you in our next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.